So hopefully, yeah, this works. Good evening, everybody. We've got one live guest. We've got a few virtual guests. My name is Matthew Watkins. I am the chair of the Roslyn Sustainability Commission and the lead of the Energy Task Force as part of the commission. And we are joined by Mariah Byers, live from sunny Whitehorse as well, from the Community Energy Association. That is going to be helping us with tonight's talk as well. I just wanted to start by acknowledging that we're hosting this here in Roslyn on the unceded territories of the Synax people. For Roslinders, if you haven't tripped over this before, our local friendly buy and sell page at the top, there's a link to some great resources around Synax people, their history in this area, of everything from videos to book recommendations to courses on Indigenous culture and reconciliation. If it's a journey you feel like taking, there's some great resources there to help you along your way. So as I said, tonight's presentation is brought to you by the Roslyn Sustainability Commission. We are a volunteer organization here in Roslyn, funded by the city to help support the city reach its sustainability goals. So we do two main things. We provide sort of policy research and policy advice on different sustainability initiatives that the city is looking into. And then we also help promote different initiatives that the city has already undertaken. So the city's been working hard to improve energy efficiency in our homes over the last few years. And so that's part of tonight's presentation, is to help that along. We've got 4 task forces: Bear Smart Task Force, Economic Development Task Force, Energy and Food Security. And so, yeah, we're all volunteer. If you have interest in any of these subject matters and think you might want to dip your toe into a task force, see what they're about, there's opportunities big and small to get involved. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. And speaking of which, one of the initiatives undertaken by our Economic Development Task Force was to look at housing needs in Roslyn. And so they helped the city get a housing needs consultant in, and we currently have a housing needs assessment survey that we would like residents to take. So if you haven't taken this already, there's a $50 4 hours gift card up for grabs. And it's great to get your input. Living in a small town, if you participate in these, your voice gets heard, and you have a real opportunity to impact the way policy is shaped. So yeah, please take advantage of that. Tonight's talk is a part of a series of talks we're doing this winter on home energy retrofits. In the past, we've done 6 talks over the winter. We've pared that down a lot this year just because we've been covering the same topics over and over again. So tonight's just a high-level introduction overview. February 12th, we are going to look at local successes in retrofits. So look at some actual examples in Roslyn of retrofits and how they've succeeded, and also try to learn some lessons from what has gone wrong or what hasn't worked, just to help people understand the local environment around retrofits and some of the challenges and hurdles, and just help people optimize their experience. We've got another talk booked for March 12th. We don't have a topic yet. So if you have ideas about subjects that you'd like us to dig into, we talked earlier about heat pumps and optimal usage, something like that. So if there's anything that you want unpacked more, feel free to get in touch, and we'd be happy to explore that. And then Earth Day, April 22nd, we'll be hosting events focused around home energy retrofits as well. So tonight's talk, I'm just going to do a high-level overview of why you might want to consider a home energy retrofit, a few key concepts to think about when embarking on home energy retrofits. Keep in mind, go over a few of the different people that can help you on your journey. Most importantly will be the Roslyn Retrofit Assist program. And so I'll throw to Mariah and later on in the presentation, and she'll talk about the Roslyn Retrofit Assist program. And then we'll open it up for some question and answers. So home energy retrofits. What are home energy retrofits? Home energy retrofits are basically any change to your home that allows your home to perform the same functions with less energy. So this is everything from changing your light bulbs, super easy stuff like that, or upgrading your appliances to Energy Star appliances, or upgrading your heating systems to much more efficient heat pumps over gas furnaces. It also involves a bunch of building envelope interventions. So everything from this, the building envelope side of it is basically broken down into three pieces. One is improving the air tightness of your home, so sealing up all those gaps and cracks to keep air from just freely entering and exiting your home. Heat coming in the summer, cold coming in the winter. Air tightness. Insulation is another part of the envelope that's important in retrofit. So upgrading everything from blowing in insulation into your attic to adding insulation to your walls. And then finally, once you've done that, or part of that journey, once you have a tight, well-insulated home, you need to think about ventilation. As that air isn't passively moving through your walls anymore, you need to make sure that you are somehow getting fresh air into your home. And so ventilation is a critical part of thermal efficiency and home energy retrofits as well. So a few reasons why you might be interested or might care about home energy retrofits. The first one that comes to mind is climate change. If we're going to avoid the most devastating impacts of climate change, we have to reduce our emissions to zero by 2050. Our homes account for the second largest source of emissions here in Rossland after our vehicles. So burning natural gas in your furnace and your water heater, and sometimes stoves as well, is actually the second largest source of emissions. So home energy retrofits are a great way to address that. Another aspect of climate change is not just mitigating our emissions, but also adapting to the changes that are already underway. So, everybody's been experiencing these smokier summers. One way of adapting to that is improving the air tightness of your home. That way that smoke isn't penetrating into your house. You put in a high efficiency heat recovery ventilator with some good filtration on it, and all of a sudden you're able to bring fresh air into your home that's clean, and you're able to provide a healthy environment for your family outside of the smoke. So health and comfort is another reason to consider home energy retrofits. The air quality in our homes, I talked about the smoke with climate change. Gas stoves got a lot of attention a couple of years ago, and just how impactful they are on indoor air quality. There are also a lot of issues with air coming through your envelope and what types of materials they're passing through, and what types of dust and airborne particles they're bringing into your house. Radon is a big issue when it comes to health and air quality. I believe it's the second leading cause of lung cancer in Canada. And this is a natural gas that emanates from our soil and ends up in our house and gets in our lungs and can make us very sick in the long run. So home energy retrofits can help eliminate that. And then the comfort, sitting on the couch with your toes freezing because there's a draft across your floor is an obvious reason as well. And then finally, investments. So not every type of retrofit is going to have the same return on investment, but with rising energy costs, if you can reduce or improve the efficiency of your home, you can reduce your exposure to those costs and cut down on your monthly expenses. There's also, coming down the pipe from a policy perspective, is this idea that homes are going to have an efficiency score with them when they're being sold. And so this will create a market, a demand side for people when they're shopping for a home. You can now shop between homes and their efficiencies. And so the ability to recoup some of that money from a retrofit perspective increases when you have a system like that. So a few topics that are important to keep in mind when embarking on this journey. The first one is the energy efficiency pyramid. And so this pyramid outlines a whole series of different interventions that can be taken to improve the energy efficiency of your home. And the way it outlines them is that at the bottom, you have the least complex and the cheapest. And as you go up the pyramid, they get more complex and they get more expensive. And the other thing that this pyramid highlights is that if you start at the bottom, then the steps further up the pyramid become more cost effective and more effective in general. So like a good example of this is we have air sealing a few steps up, and then you have your heating and cooling near the top with heat pumps. And so if you embark on your home energy retrofit journey and you jump in with the heat pump before assessing your building envelope and what kind of upgrades can be done there, you'll end up having to buy a bigger heat pump to heat your home, which will cost you more upfront and it'll cost you more to operate. Whereas if you had started by increasing the efficiency of the envelope, then you'd be able to downsize that heat pump, and it could be much smaller. So that's an example, but yeah, the whole pyramid, there are examples of that going all the way up the pyramid. Perhaps even more importantly, the bottom one, just the general understanding of what you're looking at and what kind of state your house is in, and building a plan from there.
We did just have a question online related to your radon comment.
Yeah.
Somebody said they missed out on the radon test kit promotion that we did recently. So we were part of the 100 test kits challenge. So those are in people's homes right now to be returned in March. So we don't have the results yet from that particular program. But they were wondering if radon is generally an issue in Rossland. And we don't have a ton of data, which is why we are part of this 100 test kit challenge. There are spots in Rosslands that have tested higher, so that people have done mitigation in their homes to deal with it. But generally, it hasn't been an issue in the past, but we will really know more after people return their test kits in March. There's also ones available at the library.
In Rossland or Trail?
In Rossland. Okay. They're a different style than the pucks that you put in for 90 days. They're like a little monitor, so you could even try that out if you wanted to.
Yeah, I used before they were available in Rossland, they were available in Trail, I believe. And so I borrowed one from the Trail library, one of those monitor ones. And our house in the winter was above the recommended radon threshold. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. So a second important concept I wanted to go over, to keep in mind as you start on this journey, is the idea that your house is the system. So there aren't many aspects of your house, especially your envelope and your mechanical, that you can modify without affecting something else. And it's really important to understand how these different systems interplay in order to make sure that you're not having unintended consequences that can lead to deterioration of your home and can also be quite dangerous. So one example of this is sort of a comfort and deterioration aspect, is we talked about sealing up your house. Well, you seal up your house, you no longer have passive ventilation going through your old leaky walls, which means that the air inside becomes quite stale. So you have much higher humidity content, you have odors, you have off-gassing from different materials in your house that can be harmful, and can start to lead to rot and different deterioration of your building. And so if you're going to do that, then you also need to make sure that you're installing mechanical ventilation. So this is a heat recovery ventilator that pulls stale air out of your house, puts it outside, brings in fresh air from outside, and captures up to 90% of the energy of that new air back into your house. So a very efficient way of bring fresh air to your house. But that's one of those examples of systems and having to think about the knock-on effect. The same idea here, but with much deadlier consequences, has to do with combustion appliances in a home. So everything from a gas or a wood stove to some older gas water heaters and furnaces. But here you have the gas stove burning, and as it's pulling air out of the house for combustion, it's sending it up the exhaust vent. And to replace that air in the house, you just have air penetrating an old envelope through cracks in the doors, cracks in the windows, cracks in the wall. You seal that up, and all of a sudden, as that air gets pushed out the stack, you're depressurizing your house, and that air, that carbon monoxide, no longer wants to go up, it wants to go down. And so you get carbon monoxide poisoning in your house, and this is something that happens. People die, families die. So it's very important to think about that. If you have anything combusting in your house, that you want to make sure that you have a makeup air dedicated to feed the air for the combustion. A good example, you can see this, in my house, I've got a wood burning stove. If I turn on the kitchen fan, I don't want to be lighting my stove because that smoke's coming right into my house. So it's like a great example of how that works. Yeah. So house as a system can have everything from comfort consequences to life and limb consequences. So important to think about that. Another important concept is the idea of low carbon resilience. And so this is really about trying to meet multiple objectives in one action. So there are a bunch of different things that we're considering when we're retrofitting our home. We talked about climate mitigation, climate adaptation earlier, infection control or air quality. With COVID, that's something that's come to the front of mind. Seismic resilience, I don't think it's as important in Roslyn, but something to consider as well. And so just trying to find solutions to your problem that meet as many of the criteria that you're trying to meet as possible. So a good example of something that isn't a great synergistic low carbon resilient solution is spray foam insulation. So there are instances where spray foam can add a lot of value to a retrofit. However, while it increases the R value of your house and can reduce the operating energy needs of your home, spray foam itself creates a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. So you're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're increasing the efficiency of your house, but in doing so, you're creating all these emissions. So it's not a synergistic solution in general. So you want to think about how different choices you're making are affecting other variables that you're trying to optimize for. So a few different professions that can help you along the way. Design professionals are one. So often, if we're doing a retrofit, it's in conjunction with some aesthetic upgrades. If you're going to peel off your siding and put exterior insulation on, then you might want to think about what kind of siding you want, what kind of colors you want, stuff like that. Design professionals can help you visualize, help you plan that broader part. There are a few limitations to getting designers involved. One is that there's a wide range of expertise. So if you're going to get a designer involved, try to feel out what their expertise is in the retrofit space, what kind of courses they've taken, are they LEED certified, are they Passive House certified, not even certification, just the professional development course history. Like, have they been up to date on this? Do they believe in it? Do they know what they're talking about? Can make a big difference in how helpful they can be. And of course, it's an added expense. It can also be a big help along the way. Builders and trades are another great resource. Improve quality, certainly over any work I do, and can help speed up the process. So just coordinating different trades and making things move quicker certainly help with that. And then rebates is another reason or way that building and trades can help, is that a lot of rebates require trades involvement in installation. So yeah, just that's something to consider when you're looking at rebates. Is you might want to DIY it, but is the rebate contingent on having a trade sign off on it? Some limitations. Trades, we're in the labor shortage. Finding trades can be difficult. They definitely have a preference for larger projects. So if you have the ability to plan and to try to pull your retrofit together in one stroke, you're going to have a better time, easier time finding trades to participate. And then another, just like the designers, there's a range of expertise. There's trades that from don't believe in climate change to don't know how to help with retrofits to extremely qualified. We've passive house certified builders in town. And then I believe the Retrofit Assist program also has a qualification or a qualified contractor list as well that have done some certification in town. So something else to think about. There's no shortage of stories of well-intentioned homeowners being excited about a retrofit and going to talk to a tradesperson and being talked out of it. There are a lot of things that trades know about. They have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. They don't always have experience in energy retrofits. So if you're getting talked out of something, do your homework, find out, consult somebody else. And finally, energy advisors. This is perhaps the most important group when it comes to home energy retrofits. These energy advisors are tested and certified by Natural Resources Canada, where they've met a threshold of knowledge when it comes to home energy systems. And they come in and they model your whole house. So they go around and they look at your envelope, they look at what kind of insulation you have, they look at the quality of your windows, and they also perform what's called a blower door test, where they depressurize your home and they tell you how leaky it is. So how many holes do you have? How big are the holes? How much air is passively going through your envelope, which is really, really important to understanding your home's energy efficiency. And so in the process of engaging them, they've produced two things. One is an information sheet, which is an overview of what they've found through their assessment and your home's energy efficiency, as well as sort of rated towards the average. And then when you get them involved in a retrofit, they'll also do a renovation upgrade report, which is a big help in creating a roadmap for you and what your different options are. So they will go over everything from your mechanical systems to insulation options to air sealing options, and they'll actually break it down and show you what kind of efficiency gains you'll get from each of those different things that you can undertake. So it helps you get a good picture of what your options are, what the challenges are in your particular house, as well as what the return might be on certain things, like where's the low hanging fruit is, where the biggest return on investment is, stuff like that. So this is a great, like if you're ready to get started with retrofit, this is a great place to start. You're also, so like the trades, many rebates will require a energy advisor be involved in your projects. And then limitations, finding one, they used to be quite difficult to find, especially for retrofits. Through the Retrofit Assist program, they have one contracted to help, which is a huge advantage of joining that program as well. He's very good, knows what he's talking about, and is very helpful. And I believe, I'll let Mariah talk about this too, but there is an added expense with engaging energy advisors. But they're worth the investment. This is step one of the energy pyramid, everybody. This is something that if you're going down the road, you really want to start here. So this is a metaphor that I butcher every year, but I refuse to give up. And basically, retrofits, you want to know what you're cooking and how good a cook you are. So if you're doing a simple retrofit, you're making a peanut butter and pickle sandwich, everybody can do that blindfolded. So if you're changing light bulbs, if you're upgrading your appliances to Energy Star, if you're even doing weather stripping around doors and windows, stuff like that, that's easy DIY stuff. You can do it yourself for the most part. Most of us probably can't whip up a a pad thai blindfolded. Some of us will be able to. And so if you're at that level in terms of understanding your home as a system, then do it. But understanding, okay, maybe I can't, is an important thing with retrofits. And just making sure that you're getting support required to do it effectively. Make sure the health and safety of the occupants is secured. That you're doing it well for the house, the whole house as a system concept. So just making sure that what you're trying to tackle and whether you feel confident doing it on your own, and whether it's a bigger project and you need to make sure you get some professionals involved, is an important thing to come to terms with before starting the journey. So some resources, the Roslyn Sustainability Commission just launched a new website, and we have some resources up there to help you. One is previous energy talks. So we've given, I think, 12 of these talks or 11 of these talks, not last year, but the 2 previous years. Many of those are recorded and up online, and a lot of those go much deeper into each aspect of the retrofit. So we have a talk that talks all about air sealing and ventilation. And we have a talk that talks all about insulation and windows. And we also have talks that look at local case studies, some local successes as well. So you can check that out on our website. And then we have some best practice guides posted, produced by other organizations such as BC Housing, that are great informative tools to help you on your way. One of our members created an energy benchmarking tool. So this is basically an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to evaluate your home energy usage per square meter. And this is called benchmarking. And then we have sort of a reference guide of where your house falls relative to other Roslyn homes. So you pull up your Fortis bill, you pull up this spreadsheet, you put a couple numbers over, and it kicks out the results. Just by undertaking benchmarking evaluations, it's proven to improve the efficiency or reduce the energy consumption of your home by 2%. So might be worth the 10 minutes of your time on the couch in front of Netflix. See the Heat is another program that we have. So we have a infrared camera loan program through the library for free. You download an app on your phone, you plug this infrared camera into your phone, and it basically sees through your walls. So it's a really good tool to help you understand where the weaknesses might be in your thermal envelope, both for addressing them, like you're putting weather stripping on windows and doors. It's a great tool to have, better understand your house in general, and to diagnose where you should be putting your effort. So that's through the library. And then we're launching a sort of a trial run or a pilot project of a free blower door service. So the Energy Task Force has access to one of these blower doors that the energy advisors use. And we're going to try out a service where you can call us in and we will depressurize your house and we will help you detect where the major weaknesses are in your envelope. So go around your house with a smoke pen and help you find out, oh, look, this electrical outlet is leaking a lot of air. There's an easy solution for that, stuff like that. So it's a good understanding your home tool as well as a diagnostic tool. If you're interested in that, if you're on this call and you're interested in that, you can give us an email at sustainability@roslyn.com. And then last but definitely not least, the biggest resource of them all is the Roslyn Retrofit Assist program, which has been going on for a few years. And Mariah is here to talk us about that program and how they can help you get started and help you through.
Thanks, Matt. Would you mind if I present from my computer just because I changed my slides around a little bit?
Yep. Does she have that option?
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen, I think, Mariah.
Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Can you see it on your side?
Not yet. Might take a sec.
Okay.
Someone gave you a thumbs up. Someone can see it.
Yeah, I can see it online.
Okay.
Interesting. Why it's not sharing in here?
I can stop sharing and try resharing and see if that changes anything.
It may be something to do with the room, but you can probably go ahead, and if you can see it on there, maybe we can just point it.
Because it'll be recording off online, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks again, Matt, and thanks everybody for having me here today. As said, my name is Mariah Byers, and I'm the program manager for Retrofit Assist. I'm going to spend around 15 minutes or so just chatting high level about Retrofit Assist and giving you a general overview. As mentioned before, feel free to add any questions that you may have to the chat or save them until the end, and then we'll spend some time going over them. So first, for those that are not familiar with the Community Energy Association, CEA is a BC-based nonprofit that has been working for over 25 years at the community level to reduce emissions, conserve energy, and help transition to a low carbon resilient future. Retrofit Assist is just one of the programs facilitated by the Community Energy Association. CEA supports local governments in both settler and Indigenous communities along the spectrum of their climate action journeys, whether by developing a community energy and emissions plan, building the capacity of staff, elected leaders, and industry, or planning and implementing on-the-ground projects. We have staff all across the province working with regional districts and municipalities of all shapes and sizes to progress climate action. And before we dive into all things Retrofit Assist, I did just want to start with a territory acknowledgement. So Community Energy Association acknowledges that we carry out our work on the traditional and ancestral territories of Indigenous peoples. Through our commitment to truth and reconciliation, we support First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities in taking climate action and reaching their goals of energy sovereignty, security, and resilience. I'd just like to acknowledge that I live on the traditional territory of the Kwanlin Dun and Tonquachon Council, otherwise known as Whitehorse, Yukon. I spend a lot of my personal time on the land hiking, skiing, paddling, and have a huge appreciation for this beautiful place I'm so lucky to call home. I just actually switched my background today. I was feeling the dark winter blues and needed a touch of the Yukon spring. So, Retrofit Assist, what is it? Retrofit Assist is an energy concierge service that supports homeowners through their energy upgrades from start to finish. We're a team of 4 dedicated employees who support homeowners in Roslyn, of course, and also Whistler, Squamish, Kamloops, and the East Kootenay with their home energy upgrades. When you typically think of a concierge, you probably think of that person at a hotel who will recommend certain attractions to you or make a reservation at a local restaurant, and in general, answer any questions you may have while you're staying at said hotel. Our service is very similar to this, except it's all about energy upgrades, and we can instead support you from the comfort of your own home. We'll go through the participant journey in detail in just a few minutes here, but through Retrofit Assist, we can help you prioritize your upgrades, connect you with contractors, support you through the rebate application process, and really answer any questions that you may have in between all of those steps. Our program has been ongoing for more than 2 years now, and our team is trained to be a source of knowledge for homeowners, especially when it comes to the ever-changing rebates and more. So we'll dive into the participant journey. I always say that I could probably spend an hour or so talking about all the steps and all the things that we offer through Retrofit Assist, but I'll keep it to shorter than that. But the very first step is applying, usually through our website. You're also welcome to give us a call and we'll support you through that. But through the application, we just ask you some foundational questions about your home and where you are in your energy upgrade journey. And then from there, once submitted, we will schedule an onboarding call with you. And this call is really just a chance for us to get some one-on-one time with you, start building our relationship, and dive a little bit deeper into your priorities and really determine what the best first and next steps would be for you, which almost always ends up with scheduling an EnerGuide evaluation. As Matt mentioned before, through Retrofit Assist, we have contracted an energy advisor in each of our communities. And we found this to be hugely beneficial just in terms of having a built relationship with this energy advisor already. Prior to onboarding an EA, we had homeowners telling us in some cases it would take 3 months just to schedule an evaluation. But since onboarding energy advisors, we're able to schedule an evaluation within 2 weeks' time of said onboarding call. So that's the next step. We will schedule that EnerGuide evaluation for you either at the end of the onboarding call or as soon as you're ready to move on to that step. I will add, as Matt alluded to, there is a cost to the EnerGuide evaluation. It does change community to community, but we are offering top-ups through Retrofit Assist, and said top-ups are expected to actually become bigger. So be prepared to hear about that soon as well. Once your EnerGuide evaluation is finished, the EA will send your report to both yourself and us. And at that point, we will schedule another call with you to review the report. The report has so much wonderful and great information for you to know and learn about your home. However, it can be a bit difficult to digest. So we like to take that time to go through, answer any questions that you may have, and point out the key details to know and learn about your report. And then once we're done reviewing that, answering your questions, we'll next determine the upgrades you'd like to move forward with. And at the same time, while thinking about house as a system and everything we know about building science, determine in what order it would be best for you to complete those upgrades. After that's completed, it's time to reach out to contractors. We do have a stream within our program for Retrofit Assist authorized contractors, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end of the presentation. But we do have a list of local contractors that we will provide to you, and we'll ask that you start reaching out for quotes. As you are obtaining said quotes, we always tell you to forward them on to us once received. When it comes to the rebate programs, first of all, there's a lot of them. Second of all, they all have different requirements. And third, they can be confusing. And so one of, I would say, the most beneficial pieces of Retrofit Assist is that we've found is taking that time to review the quotes to make sure that you're hitting all of those different eligibility requirements to be able to access all and any of the rebates that you can. After that, it's time to go and schedule the installation. And as soon as that's over, we jump back in and we'll support you in scheduling your post-EnerGuide evaluation, support you with your rebate applications. In some cases, we can provide a free quality assurance conversation with the technical team at Ecolayton, and really support you in just tying everything up and making sure that you're happy with the end result before offboarding from the program. So currently, our team is available to support upgrades, including solar, installation, heat pumps, water heaters, ventilation, systems such as HRVs and ERVs, windows and doors, and air sealing. We are looking to expand the program to support additional upgrades, such as EV chargers. We're just not quite there yet. But if there is any other upgrades that you're considering, I definitely recommend bringing them up with our team, as we're always looking to grow and support homeowners in as many ways we can. In November last year, so just 2 months ago now, we launched retrofit financing in partnership with Switch Retrofit Solutions. Through this, we now offer a 10-year loan to new and existing participants of Retrofit Assist. So in the 2+ years that our program has been open, we've seen firsthand how the cost of completing upgrades, particularly multiple upgrades, can be very limiting to homeowners. So we wanted to be able to provide some further financial support to our participants. Our financing is optional. You can be a Retrofit Assist participant without accessing financing. However, you do have to be a participant to access the financing itself. And you'll see here on this slide just a list of eligible upgrades, and really any upgrades that we already support you in accessing through Retrofit Assist, you would also be able to finance through the loan. So just some key details when it comes to the loan itself. The loan does have an interest rate of 7.5%. I will say we are hoping to decrease this interest rate soon here, as we're seeing prime going down as well. But currently we are telling people that it's at 7.5%. As previously mentioned, it is a 10-year loan, and you can borrow either a maximum amount of $65,000 or 15% of your assessed property value. There is a 6.25% admin fee that is added to the loan. There's no interest that's added to said admin fee. It's just added over the 10 years worth of payments. And then the last key detail I'd say to share right now, at least, is that this loan can be used as bridge financing with either Canada Greener Homes loan or any other financing for that matter. A big benefit with this, and particularly with Canada Greener Homes, is that we don't require you to pay anything up front the way that Canada Greener Homes does. There isn't any out-of-pocket cost, and we will pay the contractor directly. So in this case, you would be able to use our loan to pay the contractor, and then once you receive back the money from the Canada Greener Homes loan, you would be able to funnel that straight into our loan, essentially trying to make financing a bit more accessible in the few gaps that Canada Greener Homes may have. So a bit of information on how the first rosin intake went. Between April 2022 and 2024, we saw a total of 149 applications come through, with 91 homeowners moving forward with an EnerGuide evaluation. During that 2-year span, around 30 homeowners completed their upgrades, though we are still working with homeowners from that intake today. I'll also add that and I'm sure that this will be discussed quite a bit more in the next webinar about lessons learned and whatnot, but we definitely started Retrofit Assist thinking that we'd onboard participants, and 12 months later, they would have finished their upgrades and would be offboarded. But we learned that the process certainly does take longer in some cases. Even if you're doing one upgrade, it could take more than a year. So we have some participants that are still working with us, and they were part of the original intake. Otherwise, though, In Roslyn, we did see an average energy savings around 30%. This is likely due to the older homes when compared to those in Whistler and Squamish, for example. And in April 2024, we opened our newest intake, which is still ongoing today. So just a little bit on the contractor journey side of things before I finish up my presentation here. Retrofit Assist does onboard authorized contractors, and a part of this process is also registering for our financing program. This then allows us to pay the contractor directly for those accessing the financing, as I mentioned on the last slide. So whether accessing the financing or not, we will provide program participants our list of program contractors for them to request quotes from and potentially work with. And for any contractors on the call, I will spend just a couple of minutes walking through our onboarding process, as it's pretty straightforward and we are always looking for more contractors to work with us. So the first step is just a simple application through our website. We are requiring with the application proof of WorkSafe BC and proof of insurance. So do have that ready before you get started on your application. But once we receive that and we do a quick overview of all the information gathered, we'll send you an email that includes both a link to an onboarding video as well as a registration link for our Q&A. You can spend 20 minutes watching that onboarding video on your own time, and then sign up for one of our Q&As to go through any last questions that you may have about Retrofit Assist and what it means to work with us. And then you can hear questions from other contractors between our 5 communities and have a chance to connect with them as well. Once that's done, as long as all the boxes have been checked and everything looks good, at that point, we'll send you an email and officially onboard you to our program, which means that you'll also be registered again for our financing program. And at that point, we will start providing your information to homeowners. This part of Retrofit Assist is newer. We've been doing it for maybe a year or so now, but we have really seen the benefit, even just in terms of communication, where the contractor, the homeowner, and us, we have a relationship. And if anyone has questions around rebates, or if there's any potential issues with the installation, we're able to come in and not only support the participant, but also the contractor in whatever it may be. So that's it. That's it for now. There's lots to learn and know about Retrofit Assist, and I welcome you to take a look at our website. You can visit it at retrofitassist.ca, or feel free to scan the QR code from the presentation as well. Our email is on the website, but I'll just put my own email in the chat too, and feel free to email me if you're interested in signing up or if you have any questions, but I'd love to hear some of your questions now as well.
Great, thank you, Mariah. Nice rundown of the Retrofit Assist program. Yeah, I'm done. Are there any questions from our in-person crowd or anybody online? Yeah, I don't know if they have the ability to unmic themselves or.
Sure. You can put your hand up and I can unmute you, or you can enter it in the chat or the Q&A. But Mariah, I was wondering, we were having a little bit of a side chat before you came online, and we were talking about just kind of a lack of resources for folks who are getting some new equipment in their homes, such as heat pumps. And I was wondering if you guys at Retrofit Assist have any resources for folks who have kind of got these new heat pumps and they don't know how to optimally run them.
Yeah, that's a great question. At the moment, we don't have any written resources, for example. I think the tricky part is that heat pumps, depending on the manufacturer and whatnot, they are different and they will change depending on the home. However, contractors in their commissioning should be running through that with you. And so if that doesn't happen after your installation is done, let us know, and we can either support you in chatting with the contractor and making that happen, or where need be, we do work with the technical team at Ecolighten, and we can always connect you with them as well and have a higher level technical conversation around that side of thing.
Any other questions, comments from the online? No questions? Don't hesitate to reach out through to the Sustainability Commission. You can reach out through our webpage. You can email us. Questions, comments. Yeah, like I said, we're a volunteer organization. Our mandate is to support the community reach sustainability goals. So we're always looking for constructive feedback on how we can do that better. Ideas, pitch ideas, or pitch an idea and come do it. Be a volunteer. So yeah, don't hesitate to get in touch if any of those things come up.
I might be typing right now. Give them a few minutes. Yeah, and as someone who has personally gone through a retrofit, there's definitely some benefits to having like a retrofit contractor. I didn't use one because I started this process even long before we had retrofit assist come online in Roslyn. So I did kind of like a 50% addition, but really it ended up being like a 60% energy retrofit of my house. And it was really challenging in order to access those rebates and have all your invoices look exactly the way they should and have all those. Oh, I lost my computer, but that doesn't matter. It was a lot of back and forth, and thankfully we had Retrofit Assist on our side, and they were able to work with our contractor to get those invoices looking the way they needed to. But for your average person, it can take a lot of time and energy when you're looking at these juicy rebates that are sitting out there that you just want to get to. It can be really challenging to get them. So that's a huge benefit of having Retrofit Assist.
Yeah, for sure. There's a question.
Oh, sorry. I'll just add off of what Kristen said as well. You're welcome to sign up for Retrofit Assist at any point during your upgrades. It's definitely easiest to sign up at the very beginning before you get started. But say you've done one upgrade and are interested in starting another, or you're looking at quotes, or you've even completed your install and want to see if you're still eligible for any rebates, you can sign up at any point and we'll just start supporting you and helping you from that point forward.
And we had a question in the chat there, which is about how much does an EnerGuide assessment cost? Ryan, can you take that one?
Yeah, so in Roslyn, the costs across BC for the EnerGuide evaluations, they are on the higher side. In Roslyn, I'm fairly certain that the pre-EnerGuide evaluation is either $600 or $650, and then the post is around $400. Right now, we do have top-ups for $250 off on the pre and $250 off on the post. And then we have increased supports for income qualified homeowners. We're still working through the details, so I don't want to give too much information right now, but we are looking at providing larger top-ups than that, which would significantly bring down the price as well. So keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
So I have a question. We've had a couple of, actually I think I've had 3 blower tests done over the last 12 years. And we're we're certainly a lot tighter on the house now than we were before, but none of the specialists have ever recommended that I put in a ventilation heat exchange system. So is there a certain point at which that becomes necessary on your blower test? And can you tell that from your blower test, or where is that point?
Yeah, when you're looking at your EnerGuide report, and Matt, feel free to jump in as well, but from our point of view, when you're looking at your EnerGuide report that you receive, there's a section on there that refers to your ACH or your air leakage. And typically, if that is around 3 or 4, it's around that point that your home is quite airtight and that you should start considering ventilation. So an HRV or an ARV.
So lower than 4 would require ventilation, higher than 4 would that be your assessment?
Yeah, I would recommend it at lower points. We've also found, we had one participant, for example, who was in Roslyn actually, and they did have higher levels of radon in their home. I don't think their ACH wasn't very low, and that was part of the issue with radon in their home. But by installing a ERV, I believe that really aided in reducing the levels of radon that they had. So that's another consideration as well.
Yeah, I had a radon test done about 14 years ago, and it didn't come back too bad. But
oh, good.
The house was quite leaky then, so who knows?
Yeah. Radon's also an interesting one where sometimes upgrading your home can actually make the radon in your home worse, because all of a sudden you're getting rid of the cracks and the gaps in your home, which is then it could be capturing the radon in your home rather than giving it a place to leak out. So I also recommend, especially when there's tests that you can borrow from the library, as you're doing your upgrades, test before and test afterwards to see if there is any difference.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll tie it up there. So we'll be back with another talk. I want to get that date right. February 12th. Same time, same place. It'll be a different link if you're coming online. But we'll have it posted. Wherever you saw it for this, you'll see it again, Facebook bubble, on our webpage. We'll have signs around town. And this one I'm looking forward to. Should be interesting. Learn some, examples from in Roslyn from your neighbors that have been through this. Helps inspire you, helps teach you best ways of doing things. And I'm looking forward to that presentation. Thank you, Mariah, for joining us. We appreciate it. And thanks for helping us host, Kristen. And thank you for our crowd for showing up. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Jill's husband.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Trying to piece that together. I was like, no,
I keep
I got your name.